Hi and welcome. Today I'm joined with CEO of Zwipe, Robert Puskaric, to speak about the latest financial report, as well as the rights issue that is to begin now, 6th of March. Welcome, Robert.
Thank you, Niklas. Great to be here again.
Great to have you here. And I want to talk about the rights issue that is ongoing actually very soon. So
Yes.
the subscription period is starting on the 6th of March and ending on the 20th. And you expect to bring in around 100 million Norwegian krona. So what will you use the money for?
We will, of course, use the money wisely to start, but we are now at the stage of scaling up the company, meaning that we are coming to a completion of the kind of heavy lifting R&D. Our product is fully certified now for payment solutions, both Visa and MasterCard. And there are like minor things that we need to do to finish off the R&D of this version. So predominantly the funds will be used for scaling up the company in terms of sourcing and supply, sales, and then also working with our customers, the SCMs, in order to get them certified faster and in order to get them to kind of a maturity level so that they can go into mass production faster. Then, of course, also working with our issuers in the pilot projects so that we can take on more pilots, as well as execute the pilots much faster with higher kind of predictability. And all of that, of course, is leading us to being able to capture the market now when we see that the market is being out there.
Interesting, and you actually mentioned in the H2 report that the industry is nearing an inflection point for global mass deployment of biometric payment cards. And I mean, these cycles, looking at like different technology cycles, these usually start with a niche or like a premium segment, and this has started. And with your experience of these cycles, how long do you expect it to take until this actually becomes a mass market?
I think that in general, and since you're also following many different industries, you see that every introduction of a new technology is kind of happening faster and faster. So you're able to scale it faster, the consumers pick it up faster, and you reach mass market much faster for every new generation, so to say. What we see is that, 2022 was definitely the year where we saw commercial launches, and we will see many more, of course, in 2023, just knowing how many pilots that have been announced, and also that we have some 10 plus commercial launches around the world by the industry. And again, an industry momentum is good for us as well. I mean, we welcome competition because that is getting the market going on many fronts, so to say. So the more SCMs you have out there pushing it, and the more complete solution providers that you have, the faster the market will develop. But you could mention a few things, and that is that in 1995, that is when chip and PIN was introduced on payment cards. And that took basically 18 years to reach 1 billion cards annually. So not talking about money, but talking about number of cards, right? If you then talk about contactless cards, which was the next kind of evolution of cards, that was introduced in 2007. And that took only 8 years to reach 1 billion cards annually. So having then 2022 as a starting point and just kind of applying that everything goes much faster, I think that it will take something between like 4 to 5 years you can expect, maybe, if you guess, for it to reach a mass deployment and then coming up to 1 billion cards annually. So that would be somewhere around, as we have said, 2030 maybe, and sooner maybe. Yeah.
Interesting. And going back a bit to the capital raise you're doing, so 100 million will cover your cash burn or expected cash burn for slightly more than 12 months. But as you grow, you will also need funding, of course, for your working capital. Talk about how you expect to manage this cash burn in the coming year.
As you most probably noted, our cash burn went up slightly in the second half of 2022. Our prediction is that we will bring it down to the first half level during 2023. Then also, as we are gaining commercial traction, the net cash will of course improve as we go along. But you should also keep in mind that we are, I mean, as I pointed out, the heavy R&D lifting is now done, right? So there is not kind of more increased investments going into R&D. It's rather kind of ramping the things to be able to capture and speed up kind of the business execution, and to be able to kind of deliver on the expectations of our customers. But not kind of that we need to use the money into you know, huge investments in things that are not related to go to market, if we put it that way. Then I do also know that, and I do get the question that some other kind of pure tech companies have decreased headcount and cost. But I would say that we are not that type of company, and we have, you know, a controlled R&D size that is not increasing at the moment. And we are a hardware-related company, right? So as business is picking up and as we are scaling up the company to meet demand, we have added headcount throughout 2022 in order to cater and be prepared for the scale-up phase, so to say.
And one area that is critical for this ramp-up is, of course, pilots. And talking about Zwipe Pay in your H2 report, you mentioned software changes related to biometric performance and also improved product robustness. Can you talk us through that a bit more, and whether this should be interpreted as there having been technical challenges with pilots so far?
I mean, Zwipe is still a very young company, right? And we are now bringing out our, you can say, first commercial product, and we have done substantial testing internally before we go out on pilots with real customers, even if they are kind of doing most of the pilots so far in-house. But in the pilots, that is where kind of the rubber hits the road, right? Where you really get the feedback from the customers on what works and does not work so good. And we are of course very grateful of having a close cooperation with all the parties in the value chain in giving us kind of feedback on what we need to improve. And you can say, yes, we were not satisfied with the performance, neither was the issuer in this case, or we have a number of pilots where we have picked up that we have improvements to do. And it is about robustness, and it is about that, you know, the card should be reliable in everyday use in any condition. And with the kind of changes that we have done, which is, you know, partly software and parameter settings that we have changed, but also firmed up the way we test internally before we release products to kind of capture more use cases. I think that we have improved our product. And when the product is improved, that means that all the pilots coming along are going to go much smoother, right? And we believe that we have maybe smoked out some of these issues before competition, and that they will encounter some problems that they yet don't know about. So we are pretty happy that we found these things and that we have managed to improve and overcome them, and now we have an even better product.
Great. And on your second business segment, access cards, you initiated a proof of concept with your partner Civix at Richmond International Airport. And this is the first project together with Civix since you announced the partnership in October 2022. Please describe what will happen next with this project.
Civix is, as we then announced when we announced our cooperation with Civix, they are supplying more than 100 airports in North America with different type of security solutions, right? And Civix is also cooperating with something called the National Safe Sky Alliance in North America. And this is a, you know, alliance of airports that want to increase security in all aspects of an airport. And they have then decided to do a proof of concept when it comes to access cards. I know that the spec of what they want to test is much wider. Not that they test other cards, but you can improve, of course, security in an airport in many different aspects and in many corners of the airport. And we are participating in one corner and in one kind of case together with Civics. And since it's an alliance, that means that the result of this proof of concept will, of course, be available as I assume, a recommendation then of how you can increase security for all airports that are then part of this Safe Sky Alliance.
And can you say anything around the size and timeline of this specific project?
I don't think I can disclose that fully.
Okay.
But of course it's a limited amount of users, and they come from all different parts of working at an airport. So it's not like it's only this category of workers at the airport. It's wider than that, much wider. So trying to cover as many different work categories as possible. And Richmond Airport is a sizable airport which has more than 10,000 plus employees of different categories. So I think it's a excellent proof of concept when it comes to both kind of dimension of having different type of categories of people and also being a pretty huge, sizable airport.
Yeah, so it's great to see things starting to move with both payments and access cards. Any closing thoughts for us?
No, I think that this year is the year of inflection points, right? So looking at last year and you see the momentum building up and us also then receiving our certifications on both Visa and MasterCard when it comes to pay, and then also our customers receiving certification on Visa and one so far on MasterCard. And all of them are kind of gearing up, being extremely excited and launching pilots. Tells us that this year is the year when it will really happen, and then from there on it's further scale ups. So we feel confident that we have a good product that is very solid and robust now with very good performance. We are ready to ramp that in high volume. And we have good traction in access as well with different type of system integrators and security companies that are delivering different type of security solutions around in the world. I'm very happy on the position that we're having right now, and I look forward to kind of continue embarking into 2023 and everything that brings.
Great. Thank you, Robert.
Thank you.